Hi, thank you for coming. I'm Danielle. I'm a co-founder of a recruitment agency called Found by Few. We specialize in product and design. I also host a podcast called How to Get My Job, where we sit down with amazing people in the product and design industry and ask them how their careers started, evolved, and what advice they have for those coming after them. So just to recap, join us today, as you've already known, you've heard their amazing presentations. It's Adryan, who's principal product designer at Pearson, Aderonke, who's a product designer at Siemens, and Venessa, who's director of UX at Dye Durham. So yeah, let's just jump into it with the first question, which is to you, Aderonke. So yeah, you've had like a really interesting journey. You've been a jet setter, you've worked in fashion, photography, like it sounds like you've kind of done it all. But what would be good to know is, what was the biggest challenge to getting your first design job?
Me, I got in my way. I talked myself out of so many opportunities because I think it took me a while to realize that actually I do have a shot. I do deserve to be here. I want this. And, I'm the one that kind of got in my way. And it got to the point where I kind of said to myself, if you think someone's going to say no, then let them say no. Like, let them make the decision. Stop making the decision because you're blocking yourself. So, and also the fact that when I did apply to Siemens, I didn't think I was the right kind of applicant, because most people that I work with all come from engineering backgrounds, and I'm like the polar opposite of that. But it's because of that I am there. Do you know what I mean? So all the differences that I think are wrong are actually right. So I was my biggest challenge.
I love that. Yeah, look, I love what you said about all the differences that you think are wrong are actually right. I think a lot of people can probably resonate with that. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Adryan, you you're next up. Your presentation was great. I loved when you talked about your background, and when you talked about your design and working with Hindsight. Is it Hindsight, right? He is amazing. If anyone hasn't checked out his YouTube, check out his YouTube. His voice is like butter, literally.
I've muted him though. I can't do it anymore. Okay.
Too indulgent.
It's too much.
Yeah, it's too much. Well, too much butter is not good for anyone. So, but yeah, you kind of mentioned, that you did a boot camp with Love Circular.
Yeah.
A lot of people are interested in doing a boot camp, or have heard about these boot camps. So, what advice would you give to someone who's completed a boot camp and is now looking for a job in design?
I would say once you've like completed a boot camp and you've done your like CV, your portfolio and everything, try and like refine your search. So do a lot of research into companies that you wouldn't mind working for. I think that the mistake that a lot of people make is that once they finish a boot camp, because the boot camp is full time and you're not making any money, you're kind of rushing to get that CV and portfolio out because you're like, I need a job now. But I think that it will do you better in the long run, especially if you have the luxury to do this, to really refine your search. There's something quite special about getting a job at a company that you've actually researched and you want to work at, instead of like being somewhere else where you just like, you kind of hate the people and the culture. So take time to refine your search after completing a boot camp for sure. Yeah. I mean, you deserve it because you've worked so hard for 3 months full time. So why would you then do something that will kind of like scupper your chances at being able to excel somewhere where you actually want to excel. So yeah.
Definitely. No, 100%. And yeah, like you said, no one wants to work somewhere they hate, right?
So why would you want to do that?
Yeah, exactly. So putting the time and energy into refining your search and really like thinking about what is it that you're looking for, what's going to make you happy is super important. And
can I add on to it as well?
Yeah, keep going.
Let me in a rhythm. I would also say, I think with my portfolio, what I did is that I had my creative designs in there, so stuff that I'd worked on over the years, but I would also say it's really useful when it comes to your case studies, to just have them reflect, I guess, what you feel passionate about. one of my case studies was about Aesop, and even though I love their product, I found that the website itself was quite lackluster in terms of diversity. So I did a bunch of research into that, and I redesigned it so that it would reflect more people of color and etc. And I think being able to speak to that in an interview, I found really easy because, you know, it's something that I was passionate about, it's something that I knew about, something that I knew about before actually entering into product design. So I would say that that's like, to get a bit more granular into it when it comes to your portfolio, really consider it. Like, don't just do like, oh, I wanted to do a banking app because, you know, banking is in right now. Do something that's like quite out there and quite, I guess, original to you. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. And yeah, I love Aesop too. I mean, it doesn't really agree with my skin.
Yeah.
But like the smell, the products, the fact that you can just walk into a shop and
it's a whole experience.
Use all the products.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's really good advice. The more you can tailor your portfolio and your case studies to the people that you're speaking to, the better. So yeah, brilliant advice. Vanessa, your presentation / mini TED talk had a lot of like really amazing like advice and insights. So yeah, this is really just like an extension of that. You've been a design leader for a while, you know, like you mentioned, you've worked at some household names, Rightmove, Kazoo, you're now at Dye Durham. So yeah, what are the most important skills and experiences a designer could acquire that would help them become a design leader?
So I'm gonna say 3 C's. So the first one I would definitely say is communication. So being able to promote you and what you do inside an organization, especially if you're in a big organization, is really, really key. Also being able to get buy-in from stakeholders and other non-designers, again, is really key. And the second C is collaboration. So as I've grown as a leader, I actually spend less time with designers and more time with other non-designers. So product, engineering leaders, commercial stakeholders, and I'm there to give a view of like a design view or a user perspective. So really get used to being able to collaborate with other people who are not designers. And the third one is a commercial kind of outlook, right? So really understand the commercials of a business, understand the business goals, and be able to articulate how design can meet some of those goals. So those are the 3 things that I would say are really, really key if you want to be a design leader.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant advice. I'll just like add to that with the commercial sense. We get that a lot actually on the podcast from design leaders, and as to how important that is. Communication always comes up, like that is such a big one. And collaboration, like you said, like a lot of people think it's just within design, but actually going out and collaborating with engineers and other people in different disciplines and functions is just as important. So yeah, that's great. Thank you for sharing that, Vanessa. And we've now come to my favorite question, which a lot of people hate, which is, what's the best career advice you've ever been given? And that's to whoever wants to go first.
You're all smiling at me. Best piece of advice is delay is not denial, because it will happen, but like in its own time. So, you know, just literally stay in your lane, stay hydrated, and just let things come to you. So yeah.
Yeah, love that. Get it on a t-shirt.
I can't take credit. There's an amazing PR woman who's also called Aderonke, and when I used to have Twitter or X, she tweeted it one day, and I just was like, yeah, delay is not denial, and it just always stuck with me. So yeah, I can't take credit, unfortunately.
Love it. Who wants to go next?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna like speak to I don't know, like I'm trying to think of advice, but I don't think I really have received career advice, more so examples. So like sort of like physical examples of people like switching careers. So I'd say, like, you know, this may be corny, but my mum is a really good example of someone who's sort of she shifts and changes in terms of career. She like has a lot of strings to her bow, and I've kind of like taken that as an example and a learning point for myself to just maintain that level of to be as malleable as her, and to like really not just do only one thing, to have several streams of income, as she likes to say. So yeah, I'm trying to kind of like really learn from that, and just kind of learn from her example as well. And even my like my friends and everyone who's here right now, they're good examples to me too. Like during the pandemic, I was in the trenches for like the first 9 months, and I managed to call myself out because I saw people around me. They were still doing things. They were still, doing a bunch of their creative stuff, still making money some way somehow, but also still feeling fulfilled. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna continue on this journey of like digital illustration, even though what I'm producing at the moment is a bit like meh. I'll try and continue to perfect the craft and get it to somewhere. So not so much like words, but more so like physical examples, like the embodiment of what I kind of want to chase. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that is really important as well. I think, Ronke, you mentioned earlier the importance of surrounding yourself with people that not only give you good energy, but are like good examples and people you can like vibe off, but also that can, like you said, just give you that inspiration. And I think your presentation, Adryan, like really encapsulated that, like the idea of having many strings to your bow, and the fact that you've got your prints and all the artwork that you do, and then also you going into design. And
I mean, like what helps is when you're kind of like forced to do that because you're broke, but at the same time, it's like an invaluable skill because you take it with you. So yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, but you never know where it could lead, right?
Yeah,
you running in between flannels and
I know, right?
shoes.
Yeah, but no, it was amazing. I don't take it for granted at all. Yeah.
Vanessa?
I would say work smart and not hard. I think coming from a working class background, it's very much ingrained in me. Just work hard, someone will see you, you'll get promoted, and they'll see your hard work. It doesn't work that way. Especially in tech. I think it's just being smart in the way you do things and the way you approach things, but also getting in front of the right people. And I go back to why your network is really important, is making those smart kind of connections as well, like being intentional with the connections that you make. I know it sounds icky, but just do it, because white people are doing it and everyone else is doing it. We just need to do it, and just be really intentional. If you want to speak to a design leader, or if you want to speak to a recruiter, or someone who's got connections, speak to them, talk to them, and be really intentional about your network, and just don't just work all hours of the day just because this is the thing that you've been doing. Do something because you're going to get something out of it. Like, just be really selfish and do that, because everyone else is doing it. So just do it.
And I like what you said about, like not only putting yourself out there, but the like networking is so important. There's like, I'm going to say it's like the cheesiest line ever, but your network is your net worth. I know it's very cheesy. I know.
Isn't that from a Drake song? Isn't that from a Drake song? Your net. Well, sorry. I mean, maybe it's.
I don't. Yeah. I mean, it probably is. I don't know if I'm cool enough to. I mean, yeah. I don't really listen to Drake, but yeah.
I don't either.
Yeah, no, it's from a Drake song. Yeah, it's from, as Drake once famously said. But yeah, it's so true. Like, those connections are so important. Like, it can not only lead to an amazing job, but it can lead to so many different opportunities, whether you want to connect with a recruiter or a design leader. Like, it's so important, whether it's for a job, whether it's for mentorship, like you mentioned, Ronke, and how important that was in your journey. Like, it is really valuable to do. But yeah, I mean, we've breezed through these questions. We've basically come to the end of this section of the talk. So yeah, thank you so much. And to our brilliant panel.
Hey everyone, before you go, I just want to say thank you so much for following our podcast and for leaving us a review. It really, really helps. I just want to wish you all happiness, success, and the best of luck with your job searches and your career moves. And until next time, bye for now.